Stand by for terminal count.
Overlook Horizon High Altitude Balloons, an Ontario County nonprofit.
This is no ordinary balloon.
What a view!
Over 110,000 feet.
This is incredible.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch.
Hey guys, Tori here from Overlook Horizon, coming to you live today for, finally, a SpaceX Falcon 9 launch for the Telstar 18 VANTAGE satellite happening today. A couple delays happening tonight, but we finally made it to propellant loading, and looks like all is in good shape to continue onward here, hopefully all the way up to a launch, which is now scheduled for 12:45 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is 4:45 UTC. So we got about 30 minutes until we get to launch, but things are looking good now. Not so good a little while ago. They were dealing with some weather down in Cape Canaveral. This launch is on the East Coast, so some weather issues on the East Coast. They had apparently a whole lot of lightning happening about an hour ago. Then we had some cloud coverage, and then most recently they were waiting for clouds that were still 10 nautical miles out that had to clear. And so now everything is looking good, and we hopefully will proceed to a launch of 12:45 a.m. Eastern Time in about 28 minutes here. So hopefully that's what we're going to see here tonight. I see a whole bunch of people have joined us here and stuck around and stayed up with us. So thanks very much for hanging out with us tonight. I really appreciate everybody. I see Jason on YouTube got the upgrade to the moderator position. Ponies, but I think I've been chatting with Pony all night here during the delay. Hello to Deborah and everybody else hanging out. And then we got a whole bunch of people on Periscope hanging out. So thanks everybody for hanging out here. Some people, we got Punta Gorda, Florida watching here on the Periscope channel as well. But yeah, send over your comments, your likes, and your hearts, and we'll hang out here for tonight. We got a couple things going on until leading up to launch. We'll talk about what's happening for this particular flight in general, and then we'll chat a little while afterwards, because we've also got some time after launch until satellite deployment. I'll be here the whole time until we get to that. So yeah, what are we talking about here today? Here's our Block 5 Falcon 9. This is a brand new Block 5 Falcon 9. This is the Falcon 9 that will be launching today. It's a photo that SpaceX put out earlier today. This is the rocket vertical on pad 40 down in Cape Canaveral, Florida, on the East Coast here. So looking very pristine and shiny and ready to launch. First time this rocket's ever launched. This is not a reused booster, but they are going to be attempting a recovery here today. So we're going to hopefully see a decent recovery. Although, speaking of recovery, let me pull this up here on my other screen here. Speaking of recovery, one of the big concerns, well, it's not really a big concern, but I suppose it's one of my concerns, is the recovery effort in general. So this is a wind map right now of what's going on in the Atlantic Ocean. Over here, the little flag or the white dot, that's where the autonomous spaceport drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You, is out in the ocean, ready for that Block 5 to land on her deck there. But you can see the huge disturbance there, and that's Hurricane Florence that is off the East Coast and barreling towards the East Coast. That's supposed to be a major hurricane coming through, but that's not too far off from the drone ship, which, I mean, as of right now, it doesn't seem to be impacting the drone ship. I'd like to see what the actual footage looks like for the seas that are out there. But you also got to remember, it's not just landing that you got to worry about. It's got to land, and then they got to secure it, and then they got to come home, and that usually takes a day or two for them to actually get home afterwards. And so they're basically going to be outrunning this hurricane, trying to stay ahead of it and get that Falcon 9 booster back to Port Canaveral. So these are the wind conditions, and these are the wave conditions here. So you can see it is still pretty far off from the drone ship at this point, but just something interesting that you don't normally see, but this is the time of year to see that kind of thing. So sure what he's referring to there. Fort Lauderdale here, Dark Moon Beyond, thanks for hanging out and joining in. Some California folks joining in as well. And where'd my YouTube chat go? I lost my YouTube chat. Oh, there it is. Am I supposed to fix something? It's you got the I think you got the upgrade as well for Alex Siggyful on our YouTube channel. So here's our mission patch here for today. It's kind of a cool one. I like this one. I don't know, they've been using a lot of black in their recent mission patches, and you can't help wonder if that is kind of a little tip of the hat to all the black thermal protection that's on the Block 5 boosters. So the Block 4 and the Block 3, and all the versions before that, they didn't have that black thermal protective coating, which we can, let me pull that picture back up. Where'd that picture go? So you see the black coating on the interstage. That's the part that's in between the upper stage there, the second stage, and the lower first stage. That interstage is coated in a black thermal protection coating there, help reusability, help it survive the re-entry heating that happens as it's coming back to landing. Generally, those grid fins, they put off a lot of heat on that interstage there. So that thermal protection coating. Then you also have the black raceway that's right down the center of the first stage there. Also thermal protection coating on there as well. And there's some on the landing legs as well. So a lot of black there. So at least makes me wonder if the black in the mission patches really is kind of a tip of the hat to all the black that's now on the Falcon 9 and looks like the early Falcon 1 days. So as far as what we're looking at for today, here's our timeline for launch here. So one of the things that is a little bit stressful, if you've been following along, at least I've been following along, the new countdown procedures for Block 5 are a lot more condensed. This is the load and go procedure. If you followed any of the news recently, the load and go, and that's the procedure that they're going to use when they fly astronauts as well coming up next spring. But load and go is essentially all these the propellant and the liquid oxygen are all super chilled, and so they load them at the last minute to get ready for launch. And even now they did that on Block 4 too, but they started like 70 minutes before flight. Now the RP1, the rocket grade kerosene, that starts going in at the same time as liquid oxygen, and that's at 35 minutes. And I try to go live at 30 minutes. So, I really try to wait for that go for propellant loading, because that's generally the key that they're going to proceed with launch. And here's our broadcast starting here. I'm just going to mute it for a minute. They're a little bit early. They'll kick on. This is a good sign though, but they'll kick on at about 15 minutes before launch. So yeah, it's a little bit stressful trying to get ready for launch, especially when there's a couple of delays, because it's like 3 or 4 minutes before I'm supposed to go live, and then they're like, oh, delayed. I'm like, oh, jeez. So anyways, condensed timeline here. We're already well into that. Propellant loading and liquid oxygen is flowing into the tanks here now. And we'll have liftoff at 12:45, like I said. And then after launch, we're gonna have the separation, the landing. We'll watch the second stage burn, obviously, and we'll watch the second stage cutoff, and then the restart, and then the second cutoff, and then we'll watch satellite deployment, which is about 32 minutes after launch. So that should be right around 1:17 a.m. Eastern time. That's 5:17 UTC. So that's what we're looking at for today's broadcast. And stick around after launch, because if we do have a successful launch today, we're going to do some giveaways. We got some mission patches here still to give away. So we got some test mission patches from the NASA test mission. We're going to give some of those away, as well as some stickers. So we got to have a successful launch, and we'll do some giveaways a little bit later as well. I got to mute this in my ear because it's really making it difficult to talk while the thing's playing in my ear. So Phantasimo wants to know, why don't they make the entire rocket black? Well, the black is a thermal protection coating. It's not cheap, so they don't necessarily want to coat the entire thing in that black thermal protection coating if they don't have to. And also, as 182 mentions here, that the white helps keep the fuel and the oxidizer a little bit cooler. So that's that. If you don't have all that black paneling, certainly could keep it cooler in the sunlight as well. That's certainly possible. I suspect mostly it probably has to do with cost on the thermal protection coating there. So let's see, where's launch from? Launch is going to be on the East Coast from Cape Canaveral, Florida. So East Coast today. We've got a graphic that we can take a look at here real quick, and we can show you where launch is happening. My little standard graphic here. So here's all the launch sites. Oh, that's not the one I like, but we can look at this one. Here's all the launch sites on the East Coast. We're launching from Pad 40 today, Launch Complex 40 or Slick 40. So it's the fourth red dot down from the top of the page there. So the first two, you've got Pad B that's going to be used for the SLS missions, the upcoming SLS missions, the new NASA rocket that's coming out. I don't think it's due until 2020, but Pad B is being prepped for the SLS missions, and actually the mobile launcher just this past week rolled out to Pad B for the first time. This is 39B, I should be more specific, but Pad 39B, the mobile launcher, rolled out to it for the first time and is now parked in the massive vehicle assembly building for stacking of the rocket, which is the next big milestone here for SLS. Then you got Pad A, that's where Falcon Heavy launched from. SpaceX has a like 20-year lease on 39A. They're doing Falcon Heavy out of there. They've also done some Falcon 9s out of there as well. You've got Pad 41, that's a United Launch Alliance pad, and then Pad 40, or Slick 40, Space Launch Complex 40, that's the fourth red dot, and that's where we are today. That's where the NASA TESS mission was also launched out of. So that's the pad that I've actually walked on, is Pad 40. I've also walked on 39B actually as well. While I was down there for tests, they took us out to 39B too. So so we did get to see that that pad as well. But that's where we're launching from today, is Slick 40, fourth red dot there from the top. And a couple stats before SpaceX gets started. Once they start their broadcast, I'll switch over to that, and then we'll kind of listen in and maybe do some commenting, and then probably talk more after launch. But this is the first flight for this booster. This is booster number 1049, just the serial number for this particular booster. They go in sequential order. But this is booster 1049. This is a Block 5 booster. So we're pretty much into Block 5 for all the flights going forward here now. But this is a Block 5 booster, never flown before. They will attempt recovery on the drone ship today. Hopefully we get clear picture, although it usually cuts out right at landing. But hopefully we get clear picture. I do want to see what the seas look like because of Hurricane Florence. I want to see what those conditions look like out there. This is the second flight for Telesat Canada. We had Telsat 19 Vantage. It was actually confusing because we had Telsat 19 launched last month ahead of Telsat 18. But Telesat 18 was actually scheduled weeks and weeks ago, but it kept getting pushed off and delayed until finally today here. So yeah, a couple of delays for Telesat 18. This is the 15th Falcon 9 for this year, the 16th SpaceX launch for this year, because we also had the big Falcon Heavy back in February. 37th SpaceX launch from Slick 40, so they use that pad pretty frequently. That's also the pad where they had that big explosion. That was 2 years ago, just this September, was the Amos 6 explosion on the pad that SpaceX had. That's it's kind of a big deal, but hope they've had no issues since then. Knock on wood, and hopefully that continues. 61st Falcon 9 launch overall for SpaceX, and the 67th SpaceX launch overall in general, including those Falcon 1s in the early days. Let's see. Gordon Freeman, hi Alex, how are you? He's talking to Alex, not to me. I'm pretty. Let's see. SpaceX is why you need a Space Force. I'm not sure what that means. But okay. Let's see. What else did we want to take a look at here today? Oh, no fairing recovery today. So the Mr. Steven drone ship here, we'll show it just because. But the Mr. Steven drone ship here is out on the West Coast. There is no Mr. Steven here for recovering the fairing today, because that is a West Coast ship, and they don't have another one of those out here on the East Coast. So no fairing recovery today, although there likely is, I haven't checked for sure, but there likely is a support ship. It's usually like Go Quest or Go Pursuit that goes out to actually recover whatever is left of the fairing. So they bring the fairing down and land it in the ocean, and whatever is left of it, they usually try to pick up with one of their support ships, presumably after they do some testing, maybe some parachute testing or things like that. But they don't always do it. Sometimes they just let it come crashing down. But they may be doing some testing and recover the fairing, but not catching the fairing. They may just let it crash into the water and then recover it later. But although, speaking of West Coast though, one of the next SpaceX launch is the end of this month in September. That's SAOCOM 1. I think it's the end of this month, or no, maybe it's the beginning of October. I think it got pushed to like October 6th. But SAOCOM 1 is a West Coast launch. That will be the first return to launch site landing on the West Coast. So on the West Coast, they've done some drone ship landings. They've never turned it around and landed on land on the West Coast. And SAOCOM 1, they are going to attempt to do that in October. So, all right, so I see the broadcast here starting. We're going to switch over to that, and then we'll listen in and we'll see what they have to say and do some commenting as they get up and started. And then hopefully we have a successful launch. We'll do a giveaway. We'll talk some more while we're waiting for the satellite to get deployed. And then, yeah, we'll just come back here and chat, and we'll see how it goes. So let's switch over.
It is September 10th, just after 12:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and you are looking at a live view of the Falcon 9 rocket with the Telstar 18 Vantage spacecraft on top, awaiting liftoff from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida. Good evening from SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California. My name is John Innsbrucker. I'm the Falcon Principal Integration Engineer, and I'll be your host for tonight's webcast. Tonight, we are launching the Telstar 18 Vantage spacecraft to a geostationary transfer orbit. Liftoff is planned for 12:45 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, or 04:45 Universal Time, coming up just some 12 minutes and 40 seconds from now. This will be SpaceX's 16th launch of this year, and today we will be flying a brand new Block 5 booster, which we will be attempting to land on our East Coast drone ship named, of course, I Still Love You.
All right, yeah, looking pretty good out there. Nice and frosty there. You can see all the condensation coming off the booster there. Completely normal, nothing to be worried about. A lot of condensation and water vapor there. Water vapor, and also the liquid oxygen kind of boiling off.
For today's mission, we're launching out of historic Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. This is one of SpaceX's 2 East Coast launch sites. On the pad, through a couple of drops of rain which have now left the area, you can see the 2-stage Falcon 9 vehicle standing 70 meters tall, greater than the wingspan of a Boeing 747. The first stage is powered by 9 Merlin 1D engines, and they do the bulk of the work to carry Falcon 9 from the ground into the vacuum of space. First stage will separate about 67 kilometers up. Our second stage, which is visible on the webcast just above the black-colored interstage, has a single Merlin vacuum engine, which ignites after stage 1 separates. The second stage is what will carry Telstar 18 Vantage to geostationary transfer orbit, or GTO. It will take 2 burns of the upper stage engine to do that. The spacecraft is currently sitting inside of the 17-foot diameter payload fairing on top of the second stage. You can see the fairing with the customer's decals on it. About 30 seconds after ignition of the second stage, we will jettison the 2 fairing halves in the vacuum of space. Stage 2, still with Telstar 18V on top of it, will continue its journey into the first of 2 orbits planned for early this morning. Now, alongside of the Falcon 9, slightly obscuring the view, is the truss structure. We call it the Transporter Erector, or TE. That's what we use to roll the rocket out to the pad and support it in its vertical position, as you see on the screen now. The Transporter Erector also provides power, data, and air conditioning connections to the Falcon 9 rocket. Today's mission is the 5th flight of our Block 5 vehicle design. Block 5 represents a series of upgrades to Falcon 9 designed to allow us to reuse each Falcon 9 10 times or more, as well as reduce the refurbishment time needed between flights.
And we're still waiting for Block 5 has the promise of being able to turn around in like 24 hours. We've not even come close to that yet. We're still also waiting. They've done the landing legs are supposed to be able to retract, which is something new on Block 5.
T-minus 9 minutes and 37 seconds and counting. And as I like to say on the webcast, the good news is the SpaceX and Spacecraft teams are working no significant issues right now.
That's good.
On the Falcon 9 side, the team came on console at T-minus 2 hours, gave their goes for launch, and we began propellant loading at T-minus 35 minutes. Currently, the second stage fuel tank is completely loaded. Meanwhile, first stage fuel is going on board, and we are loading liquid oxygen onto both the first and second stages. The liquid oxygen loading will end between T-minus 3 minutes and T-minus 2 minutes before launch. On the spacecraft side, the team is go for launch. We just heard that they have completed transfer of the spacecraft from ground power to the onboard batteries. That finished up at T-minus 15 minutes. There's no further commanding planned of the spacecraft before launch. They're ready to go. On the range side, we're flying out of the Air Force's Eastern Range. They have the airspace and the ocean areas clear for launch right now. They've also been giving us weather forecasts, releasing weather balloons. We've obviously been delayed early this morning for weather. We've been delayed 77 minutes. We've had rain, lightning, and thick clouds, but the weather officer says that's all clearing out right now, so the weather looks good for an on-time launch 45 minutes after the hour. Now, the launch window was 4 hours long. We've now got 2 hours and 43 minutes left in it when we get to T0. There is the possibility if we hold in the last minutes of the count, we could try again tonight. That, of course, depends upon what caused us to hold the countdown and whether we can resolve it quickly. But if we are able to, we might have enough time to load another batch of cold liquid oxygen onto the Falcon 9 and try again later in the window. So in summary, Falcon 9's looking good. The spacecraft team's on internal power. They're ready to fly. The range says we're clear, and the weather appears to be cooperating for launch just over 7.5 minutes from now.
Yeah, let's just hope for not having a hold. I mean, you'd rather have a hold than a big boom, but let's hope for no hold, just because it is a really big window today, and it would make for a very long night if they held it and had to recycle and everything. So let's hope we don't do that. So a couple of people threw in some questions. I see Carrie on Facebook, Denard from Davenport, Florida. Thanks for hanging out on the
Today,
Facebook feed.
SpaceX is launching Telstar 18 VANTAGE, a powerful new satellite in the Telesat fleet that will enable communication services on the ground, in the air, and at sea. Built for Telesat by SSL, Telstar 18 VANTAGE will significantly expand Telesat's capacity over Asia, including growing markets in China, Mongolia, Southeast Asia, and the Pacific Ocean. Its high throughput capabilities will provide broad geographical coverage as well as focus coverage, which is important for bandwidth-intensive applications like satellite TV. Telstar 18 VANTAGE is Telesat's second high-throughput satellite to launch this summer in partnership with SSL and SpaceX. SSL, which is based in Palo Alto, California, builds both geostationary and low Earth orbit satellites, and to date has more commercial geostationary satellites on orbit than any other manufacturer.
A couple people on the Periscope asking if this is live. This is live. Jimmy wants to know, is this live? This is live, Jimmy. We're live. We're going right now. Was originally going to launch, supposed to launch over an hour ago, and then it got pushed back. So we got 77-minute delay total so far tonight. But yeah, we are live right now. Somebody also asked, am I going to watch?
T-minus 5 minutes, 45 seconds. Everything continues to look good for launch of Falcon 9 with Telstar 18 VANTAGE. Now, during the discussion on the satellite, we heard the call out that MVAC Merlin engine chill-in has begun. That happens at T-minus 7 minutes. Another major activity that will be happening in less than a minute and a half at T-minus 4 minutes, 10 seconds. The cradle arms on the transport erector will open, so we might be able to get a close-up view of that. The arms will open, and the strong back will then recline slightly away from the Falcon 9, starting about 10 seconds after that. We'll hear the call out that the transport erector is in position at about 88.2 degrees. Once we get to T0, the erector is hydraulically reclined away from the Falcon 9 to about 77 degrees. Falcon 9 then clears the erector at liftoff. You've now heard the call out. The stages are pressing for strong back retract. That's getting ready to open the arms and recline the transport erector. Now currently on Falcon 9, fuel is completely loaded on the first stage now. We're still loading liquid oxygen on the first and second stages. If we've got the pad mics up, you may be hearing the hiss and pop of pressure venting from the rocket, as well as the plumbing that's on the transport erector. The white clouds you see around the rocket, that's the moist Florida atmosphere. It's condensing around the areas where the cold gaseous oxygen is vented overboard. We've also got gaseous oxygen venting from the base of the Falcon 9. That's due to chilling in those Merlin turbo pumps that began at T-minus 7 minutes. The liquid oxygen chills the pump on each engine, and then it's vented overboard. Now, once we finish loading liquid oxygen at T-minus 2 minutes, the last major event in the countdown will happen at T-minus 1. That's when the flight computers on the Falcon 9 take control. You'll hear the countdown net. Falcon 9 is in startup. We've also heard just now that the recline is underway of the transport erector. And we've also heard TVC motions acceptable. That's the last minute wiggles of the upper stage engine actuators to make sure that everything has been checked out as close to launch as we can. Now, meanwhile, I was talking about Falcon 9 in startup at T-minus 1 minutes. The computers will light the Merlin engines at about T-minus 2 seconds, and liftoff will be commanded at T0. So with all systems go on Falcon 9, the spacecraft, the range, and the weather, let's listen to the last few minutes of the countdown.
So one thing I did want to say, bring up, Sonar 61 on Periscope asked a really good question. He said, would they abort the mission if the booster would not be able to be recovered due to the sea state? Generally, they will not abort for recovery. So they're usually, recovery is a secondary mission, so they're usually they would typically launch the rocket even if it can't be recovered, because they have to, their primary mission is to get this satellite into orbit. The recovery is kind of a nice to have thing, but it's not a must have. So that's generally how that works as far as recovery and whether or not they would abort or hold for that. Somebody else want to know, is this Vandenberg? This is not Vandenberg. This is the East Coast, Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. This is happening now. Yeah, I'm going to try to be quiet here when we get a little bit closer, because I do love to hear all those pad mics. They've really had the launch pad mic'd up very well over the last couple launches here, so you can hear a bunch of the venting happening. There's generally going to be one last huge vent of the liquid oxygen that happens right at about a minute and a half. That's the last big vent coming up.
Stage 2 lock slow complete.
So that's the
Falcon 9's on internal power.
And you can see a bunch of the venting happening there on the right side, some condensation happening, a little water vapor. Not a big deal, everything's normal. And then watch for a big green. That should be our last big vent right there. That's down. I'm going to try.
Falcon 9's in startup.
I'm going to try to be quiet for the rest, but take a look at the engine area right at T-minus 2 seconds. Should see a green flash, the T-tab, the igniter.
Stage 2, press for flight.
Go for launch.
Go for launch. We're good to go. I keep seeing those flashes on the left side. I keep thinking it's raining. They're just like police lights or something.
Stage 1's at startup pressures.
T-minus 15 seconds.
Falcon 9's configured for flight.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
There we go.
Vehicle pitching downrange.
Kind of cool looking through some of the clouds there.
Power and telemetry are nominal.
47 seconds into flight, we just heard the tail end avionics call out nominal. Falcon 9 heading through the clouds at Cape Canaveral, powered on 1.7 million pounds of thrust. We're throttled down for passing through maximum dynamic pressure.
So we're going through max Q here. So
Vehicle supersonic.
here's max Q coming up, and then we're going to have cutoff is about
We're
233.
supersonic, heading out of the Earth's atmosphere.
Vehicle has reached maximum aerodynamic pressure.
And now the call out, we're
Q.
through the area of maximum aerodynamic pressure. As we get into the thinner areas of Earth's atmosphere, the loads are now decreasing on the Falcon 9.
So 233.
Now we're getting ready
is
for
cutoff.
chill-in of the upper stage engine. Similar to the first stage, we'll begin flowing liquid oxygen to the pumps. And we've heard the call out, MVAC-D chill-in has begun. Now coming up, just past 2.5 minutes into flight, the 9 Merlin 1D engines you see here from the ground camera will shut down. A few seconds later, the stage will separate, and then the upper stage engine will ignite to begin propelling the spacecraft to the first of 2 orbits for the evening. 2 minutes, 8 seconds into flight. Trajectory looks good. Merlin engine chamber pressures look good.
You see that exhaust, the exhaust kind of fans out there as it gets into the upper atmosphere, and there's not as much pressure, so it kind of fans out and spreads out there. So now we're looking at
Coming up on shutdown.
one camera looking from the first stage, one from the second stage, looking at each other. We should have separation here coming up pretty much right now.
Yeah, Miko.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVAC ignition.
And we've heard the call out, MVAC
Cool looking
ignition. The chamber is up on power. Engine's looking good on stage 2. Meanwhile, stage 1 is now coasting. You can just see the grid fins, the titanium grid fins on the first stage opening on the left view. First stage is now going to begin drifting down towards the drone ship. Meanwhile, we're coming up in 15 seconds on fairing separation.
That was a pretty cool looking startup or ignition for the second stage there. From the one camera, you could see that green flash was so green and so bright, and then the engine actually just kicked in. That was pretty awesome. Pretty cool to see.
Stage 2 on nominal trajectory.
There's our payload fairing. We're looking inside the payload fairing right now. That's the satellite on the left side. And there it goes.
Bearing separation confirmed.
There you can see it on the left there.
And a nice view, and you can hear the applause from the folks outside Mission Control here at SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California. The 2 fairing halves have separated in the vacuum of space. Now, as a reminder, on this flight, the fairings do not have recovery systems. We did not put parachutes in, so there's no plan to recover the fairings. We've heard acquisition of signal call out from Bermuda. That's our tracking site in Bermuda. Has the telemetry from the Falcon 9.
Yep, so those fairings
Second stage
just
continues to
crash into the
perform
water.
well. We're carrying Telstar 18 Vantage to the low Earth parking orbit. We should get into orbit about 8.5 minutes into flight.
Yep, and so now we're looking for the next big thing that's coming up is going to be the first stage entry burn, which is at about 6 minutes and 15 seconds or so.
Now currently, first stage continues to coast. It's arcing up to apogee and now beginning to descend down towards the drone ship. As a reminder, on this mission, it's a geostationary transfer orbit mission. there is no boost back burn to bring it back to Cape Canaveral for a land landing. This first stage recovery will use 2 burns to land on the drone ship in the Atlantic Ocean, currently parked about 635 kilometers offshore. This is the typical profile for a GTO mission.
Yep, so the first stage is going to land on the drone
5
ship.
minutes, 15 seconds into flight. The Merlin vacuum engine on stage 2 continues to look excellent. Trajectory is good, and we're waiting for entry burn of the first stage in less than a minute.
Yep, so entry burn should happen at about 6:17 for that first stage, which is coming back to the drone ship, which is in the Atlantic Ocean. So that entry burn, that'll be the first burn, and then there'll be a landing burn, which will actually be the one for landing, right? That makes sense. So 2 burns for that first stage to come back, starting at 6:17. The actual landing itself
coming up
is about 8.5
T plus
minutes.
6 minutes. Second stage continues to perform nominally. First stage is preparing for its entry burn, coming up in about 17 seconds. This will be a 23-second burn. We light 3 engines on the first stage to begin slowing us down as we pass into the atmosphere.
Yeah, so 8.5 minutes, that will be when the actual landing happens. That's pretty typical for the ocean landings or the drone ship landings, usually right around 8.5 minutes.
Stage 1 entry startup.
This is the entry burn here on stage 1 on the left.
You see
the grid
ignition,
fins out.
the 3 Merlin engines at power, back illuminating those titanium grid fins.
It sounds like you can hear some clapping at the SpaceX mission control. Sounds like there's 8 people there. Not as heavily populated as like Falcon Heavy. They're shut down.
Shutdown.
And shutdown of stage 1. That completes the entry burn. Coming up at T plus 8 minutes, just shortly after that, we will get the landing burn of the first stage.
Now, remember the landing, they're probably going to show the drone ship, but it usually cuts out the satellite
7 minutes
feed.
into flight, everything continues to go well on the second stage. Propulsion's good. Trajectory is good. We're about to go transonic on the first stage as it quickly enters the Earth's atmosphere.
Yep, there was. What was I just saying? I was saying something a second ago. Oh yeah, the satellite feed on the drone ship. As that the thrust from that landing burn comes in, it's going to shake the ship, shake the antenna a little bit.
We should be
Usually
going
cuts out,
transonic on first stage. That puts us less than 60 seconds away from landing. Right now, the vehicle is passing through 900 miles an hour. That'll give you an idea of the deceleration that's coming up in the span of less than a minute. Will reduce from over twice the speed of a jet all the way down to 0 as the rocket lands. There'll be many events coming up here very shortly. Landing burn and ignition. Second stage goes into orbit, and then the first stage lands. Let's listen and watch.
ASTS has saved.
Stage 1 landing startup.
Looks like the
We
feed
have
is
single
cutting
engine
out
startup
already.
on the first stage for landing. We're getting views from the onboard
Stage 1 landing
camera.
burn.
Not really. Barely. Those 2 white dots there. Is that the drone ship? Don't see anything.
Stage 1 landing light deploy.
Landing lag. So I see the drone ship. There it is. Landing.
And we're waiting for confirmation on first stage on the drone ship.
We're cheering. Soon to get landed.
Falcon 9 is landed. All landing operators proceed to procedure 11.
We don't have a view, but we hear recovery calling out Falcon 9 has landed.
Heard it landed.
Also, importantly, in the background just now, we had second stage engine shutdown on time. Guidance, navigation, and control engineer confirms we have a nominal orbit. That's the parking orbit, the first of 2 planned. So far, first stage looks good on the drone ship. Second stage is in the desired parking orbit. Now our next events are restart of the upper stage engine at T plus 26 minutes, 17 seconds, and then deployment of Telstar 18V almost 6 minutes later. So right now, I'm going to pause live commentary, but I'll be back in about 15.5 minutes at T plus 25 minutes, 30 seconds, and we'll bring you the restart of the upper stage engine, followed by deployment of the Telstar 18V satellite.
All right then. Well, I guess we can mute mute this here. Actually, I'm going to mute it over here so it's muted in my... Actually, no, I don't want to do that. Let's see. I'm going to turn it down over here. Last time I missed it when they came back. We'll just turn it down nice and quiet. And then I'll remember to, hopefully remember to turn that back on when they come back there. But there we go. So it sounds like we got a successful landing. Everybody cheered. I heard them say in the radio loop there, they said that Falcon 9 had landed. So it sounds like good landing. There was kind of a fuzzy picture on the side there. I think that was supposed to be the Falcon 9, but it just kind of looked like a blob. But they did say in the radio that it had landed. We didn't actually get to see much of the landing. You could see it on the left screen, the onboard camera. You could see the deck of the drone ship there pretty well. So it seems pretty solid for a landing there, which is great. You know, because there was a little bit of concern about weather or high seas or anything like that. They didn't really say anything much about that, so it sounds like they weren't really that concerned. It was more just a thought that I had as they were getting ready to launch this here today with all the news about Hurricane Florence out there. And then we've got a nominal parking orbit, which is also fantastic, so that's good as well. So they're in good shape here. And now what's going to happen here now at this point is this is a communication satellite, and like most communication satellites, it's going to go into geostationary orbit. Geostationary orbit is the red dotted line here on my little graph here. This red dotted line here is geostationary orbit. The Falcon 9, or at least the second stage of the Falcon 9, is not going to put it all the way into geostationary orbit. Right now it's in a parking orbit, which is the solid red line. I don't think I can point that far. It's going to cut my finger off, but it's the solid red line over here. The Falcon 9 is in parking orbit right now. It's doing a coast phase. Basically, it's going to coast to the other side of... I can't really do that in this camera. It's going to coast to the other side of the Earth, to perigee there. And then it's going to do another burn and get it into this green transfer orbit here, the geostationary transfer orbit, and that's where it's going to drop off the satellite. Then it will be up to the satellite itself to get itself into geostationary orbit. It'll do the rest of the work after the Falcon 9 drops it off there in the transfer orbit. So that's what we're waiting for. We're in the parking orbit now. We're waiting for that transfer orbit. That's going to come up here. Let's see, what is the timeline for that? I don't remember. The timeline, where's my timeline? So here's our timeline for today. So we had the landing, so the second stage restart is not going to be until 26 minutes into the flight, and those are usually quick. The second burn there, it's only about a 43 second burn, so it's a really quick burn. Then there's a couple of minutes, and then they deploy the satellite. They actually separate it from the upper stage there. So that's coming up. 26 minutes on the clock. You can't really see the clock that well in this particular view, but there's 13 minutes on the clock. So we've got about another 13 minutes to go until we have that second burn started. So I missed a whole bunch of comments here. Let's see if I can get back to some of them. A bunch of people asked, where is this launching from? This was the East Coast from Cape Canaveral, Florida. From Slick 40, Launchpad 40 on Cape Canaveral. Let's see, what part of this rocket will land for reuse? That's the first stage. Just the first stage lands for reuse. That's all they do on the East Coast is first stage landing. So if you're looking at the rocket, basically everything below this black part here is called the interstage. This section here, this is the first stage here. This is what lands, and actually the black interstage lands with it. So the black interstage and all the way down the first stage here, and then the landing legs and the engine bells obviously are below that. But really what's disposed of, it's gonna cut my finger off again, is the upper stage up there, the white part, and the payload fairing. The upper stage of the payload fairing is what's disposed of. The upper stage for sure. The payload fairing they're working on recovering, but not on the East Coast yet. They don't have a ship on the East Coast to recover them, so there's no parachutes on there to actually do the recovery. It's just going to smash into the ocean. They may send a ship to pick up the pieces, but they're not really actively trying to recover the fairing, at least not on the East Coast. The West Coast flights, different story. They got the Mr. Steven boat out there, big catchersman. They're going to try to catch those payload fairings. They have not done that yet, but they're going to try to. And then there's talk about them trying to recover the second stage. Haven't heard anything in terms of developments there. They've talked about using using parachutes or balutes or balutes, which are like balloon. It's a hybrid of a balloon and a parachute. It can like inflate in front of the engine bells to slow it. It's crazy. There's some craziness there, but they haven't really announced any sort of plans. There's just been speculation on what they might do. So there we go. Let's see. Kate on Facebook, watch from her house in Merritt Island. Oh, that's pretty sweet. I wish I could see it from here. I can't see it from here. Let's see. Kate says she's got a video on Twitter if you want to see it. I envy you all for they can watch the launch from home, says Gregorius. I'm with you, Gregorius. I envy everybody who can watch a launch just sitting at home. I watched launches before, but not sitting at home. I can't do that. Not from here. And so here, I suppose we could go back to this view here so that you can see what's happening in the SpaceX broadcast. Let's see. Stubby says, remember to give a thumbs up for the live stream. Thanks, Stubby. Yeah, give me a thumbs up on YouTube, or if you're watching on Periscope, send over some hearts. That lets me know that you actually like what's going on here. I always appreciate that. And let's see. We missed some Periscope ones. Let me go back to some of the Periscope comments. A bunch of people said, wow. So, let's see what else. I got a comment that's muted by a moderator. Who's the moderator? Aren't I the moderator? I don't know how that happened. But all right, that's interesting. Is the booster landing on its own? Yeah, so it lands on its own. It's all completely autonomous. There's no input. It's not like there's somebody driving the controls of it. It lands completely on its own. Let's see. Falcon Heavy was when the booster fell back to, yeah, Falcon Heavy was pretty awesome. Sorry, I wasn't going to read that comment on the stream. Let's see. I thought SpaceX is supposed to reuse their parts. I think I already read that comment. Yeah, they do reuse a lot of them. And Arctifus, if you don't follow Overlook Horizon on Twitter, Facebook, or in the Discord, there will be a giveaway today. Yay, giveaway. Why don't we do the giveaway? So here's how that works. The giveaway, you got to be on the YouTube channel for the giveaway. So the giveaway is only applicable if you're on the YouTube channel. Alex Ziggyville says, I think Tori should wear a snorkel and a mask since it looks like he's floating in the ocean. The power of green screen technology. If I go like this, you can see the green screen in between my fingers. Let's see. So we'll do the giveaway. But so in order to win the giveaway, you have to go to the YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/OLHZN. And on the YouTube channel, all you got to do in order to get to be eligible for the giveaway is just type a comment. It doesn't matter what it is, but if you want to win the giveaway, you got to just go to the YouTube channel and type any sort of comment. Here, I'll put the, let me see if I can type this up here really quickly. I don't know if I can do this on the fly here like this. Where is this? I don't know if I can do that. I was going to try to put it up on the screen here, but it's youtube.com/OLHZN. So if you're on Periscope, it's the same username as Periscope. If you're on Facebook, it's abbreviation for Overlook Horizon. So it's OLHZN. So youtube.com/OLHZN. And you just got to leave a comment on the YouTube video, and then you'll be eligible for the giveaway. And now, what's the giveaway, you might be asking? So we got a couple things that we'll give away here tonight. First thing, there's a couple more eligibility things. I'll get back to those things too, but those are more legal requirements. But we're gonna give away a mission patch. That's the big one. Here, let's go full screen here. Well, this is exciting stuff. We need full screen for the exciting stuff. We're gonna give away a mission patch here. This is an official NASA TESS mission patch, which is kind of the blue in the mission patch is getting green screen, is getting chroma keyed out. So I don't know how to stop that from happening. But this is the TESS mission patch. It's actually, there's some blue in there, but you can't really see it because it's getting chroma keyed with my green screen technology here. But this is the TESS mission patch, official NASA TESS mission patch. TESS is the Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite that launched in April earlier this year. That's the launch that I got to go down and watch in person. And so we got a whole bunch of mission patches while we were down there. And now there's some giveaways for you guys. So if you want to win the test mission patch, you just got to throw in a comment on the YouTube channel. It can be anything. Just say hi, tell me where you're from, anything like that, and we'll give away a test mission patch. We're going to give away, we've got an Overlook Horizon sticker to give away, and we got, where's my other, I got more stuff here somewhere. Oh, there it is. We got a Space Lobster mission patch to give away, or mission patch sticker to give away from our mission a little while ago. And then I think I'm gonna save these for the ULA launch, because these are a ULA item. But ULA was pretty awesome. They sent us a bunch of these. Let's see, how do I this is all backwards. They sent us a bunch of these Parker Solar Probe. Maybe we'll give one away today. But they sent us a Parker Solar Probe beach balls, which are pretty awesome. That launched on the Delta 4 Heavy here. So this is a little beach. It smells very new. I know you guys can't smell. You need smell-o-vision so you can smell this, but it smells very new. But they sent us a whole bunch of these Parker Solar Probe beach balls here, with the Delta Heavy on the one side, and there's the Parker Solar Probe on that side. Little tiny beach balls. They're pretty awesome. And ULA logo right there. ULA sent us a whole bunch of those, which is pretty awesome. So super huge thanks to ULA for sending us some of those. So there we go. Carrie says, I'm on Facebook. Make it easy. Pick me. Unfortunately, we're using Nightbot to pick a random winner, and Nightbot only works with YouTube. So that's the reason why you got to be on YouTube. I'd love to just make it pick over random, but in order to make it completely random, Nightbot is going to be our picker of the winner here tonight. So that's what we're giving away here tonight. And so I mentioned there's a couple other eligibility issues. And so for eligibility wise, you got to be in the United States, Canada, the UK, the European Union, but not, you can't be in Quebec, you can't be in Italy. There's a couple of, there's a link to the rules in the YouTube video description. I don't remember all of them, but there's some legal requirements. I wish I could just give it away to anybody and everybody, but apparently it's really hard to give stuff away for free. There are some countries that completely outlaw that, or make it very, very difficult. Like you got to register with the government to give away free stuff, and as a nonprofit charitable organization, we just can't do that. So yeah, we can. We'll give that away. I see a whole bunch of people that have commented here so far. So if you're on the YouTube channel, I'll give everybody another minute or so here. Let's see, what do we got on our time here? We're at 22 minutes. I just want to make sure we give enough time to give enough time so that we can get back to the broadcast there. But yeah, so a patch, couple of stickers, and we're gonna have to. We'll make a game time decision about the beach ball. We may have to give away a beach ball just because they're so new. I feel like I gotta give away the beach ball there. Plus, they sent us a whole bunch of them. But it feels weird to give away a ULA beach ball during a SpaceX broadcast. No. But yeah. Anyways. Let's see how. Yeah, the Space Lobster is gone. The Space Lobster auction finished, and the Space Lobster is on his way to the destination for our Space Lobster winner. So that did finish. If you want to see, I'm not going to announce. Somebody asked how much it went for. I'm not going to announce that on the stream, but you can go to overlookhorizon.com/auction, and you can see it. It's still up there. Let's see. So it looks like we got a whole bunch of people that are eligible here now for the giveaway here. We got a whole bunch of comments that came in, and I think we're pretty much ready. We better do it because they're coming back here any second here. So this is for, first one up is for the NASA TESS mission patch, official mission patch. It's the real deal here. It's an actual patch, even though it's not transparent, even though it's chroma keying through the patch. It's not actually transparent, but here we go. Let's do this and do that, and then we should be good to go. All right, and I think everybody's in. I'm just make sure we got. All right, okay, here we go. We're gonna. Where's my spin the wheel button? All right, here we go. Spin the wheel for the NASA test mission patch. Nightbot is giving it away to... Who did it come up with? It didn't give me a name. Oh, Alex. There you go. Alex has won the giveaway. So there we go. Alex has won the giveaway. So Alex, if you want to claim your giveaway, what you got to do is you have to send me a direct message of some sort on one of our social media channels. So just send me a direct message on social media, either on Twitter or Facebook, or I don't think YouTube direct messaging works anymore. So it's got to be on either Facebook, facebook.com/overlookhorizon, twitter.com/OLHCN, or you can go to overlookhorizon.com, send us a message through there as well, and you'll get the NASA test mission patch. They're talking again, so I'm going to turn the broadcast back up, and we'll come back for the stickers here in just a second.
From low Earth parking orbit to GTO.
All right, now it's quiet. Well, I guess while it's quiet, we'll do some more giveaway stuff for. We'll give away a.
The engine's in startup.
Oh, here we go.
And back ignition.
We've heard the call out ignition. We're good power. Engine's in closed loop. This is a 44-second burn, as I said. Right now, we're running about 7.4 kilometers per second. This burn will increase the velocity of stage 2 carrying Telstar 18V to about 9.3 kilometers per second, transferring it to geostationary transfer orbit. We're now throttling down to limit Gs on the spacecraft.
Vac shutdown.
Here's our shutdown here.
We've heard the call out for shutdown. Waiting for guidance to tell us how the orbit looks.
Haven't heard anything yet to see how the orbit insertion looks here.
Now, I've not heard the guidance engineer call out, but looking at data, the trajectory looks good.
Nominal orbital
So
insertion.
second stage has delivered Telstar 18V to a good orbit. We're in geostationary transfer orbit. Now, the next item on the primary mission agenda is deployment of the spacecraft itself. That's about 5 minutes from now. Now, we're going to continue to show you live views of the second stage, and I think we've got a view of the first stage on the drone ship out in the Atlantic Ocean. There it is on the left of your screen, the first stage on drone ship. Of course, I still love you. So we're going to pause live commentary for the moment. We'll be back to show the release of Telstar 18V in geostationary transfer orbit, coming back at about T plus 31 minutes and 30 seconds, or about 3 minutes from now.
All right, I'm switching it back over to here. Let's see, we'll turn this down. I'll turn this down on my headset. Okay, so let's give away some more stuff here. So we got this is gonna be the Space Lobster mission patch sticker here, so we'll give one of these here away until they come back, and we'll watch the satellite deployment. So we'll roll it again. I see a whole bunch of people still eligible on the YouTube channel. So here we go. We'll just roll it again right away for the Space Lobster mission patch sticker. Here it is. Looks like it's going to be Joy Mode has won the giveaway here for the Space Lobster mission patch sticker there. So there's Joy Mode winning the Space Lobster sticker. Joy, if you want to claim your Space Lobster sticker, you got to send me a direct message on Twitter, Facebook, or at overlookhorizon.com, and you got to tell me where you want it to go. I need the address of where to send it. I got to know where to send it. So we don't share it with anybody. We don't sell it or do any of that kind of nonsense. It's literally just I take the address and I write it on an envelope. We're not even sophisticated enough to be able to type it on an envelope. We just write it on an envelope, just handwritten. I literally do it. If you send it to me now, I will do it right after the broadcast, write it on the envelope, and then it goes out in the mail tomorrow. So send me that direct message there. And we'll send, we're going to mail this out here. This is going to be our Overlook Horizon sticker. Carrie wants to know, does that come in a magnet? I don't have Space Lobster magnets. I have Overlook Horizon magnets. I don't have Space Lobster magnets. You think we ought to get some Space Lobster magnets? We were just about to do another order of some stickers and magnets and stuff. You think we should get some Space Lobster magnets? Maybe we will. But there we go. Going to Joy is the Space Lobster sticker. Joy, send me a direct message of where you want that to go to. And then finally, we're going to give away the Overlook Horizon sticker, and that's going to go to another winner here. Mr. Six Titan says, "How are you not tired? It's 1:15 a.m." I am tired, but this is my time of night, or my time of day. I thrive at night like this. I love this here. So. All right, so we're going to give away the sticker here before they come back and do the satellite deployment here. So let's give away the Overlook Horizon sticker, and we will roll it. There you go. This is, I don't know how to pronounce this. This is Chusakan. Chusakan has won the Overlook Horizon sticker here. Oh, they're talking again.
Just past 32 minutes into flight. Nice views from the second stage as we're on the daylight side of the Earth, passing over Africa, and you can see the altitude quickly increasing following that second burn of the upper stage engine. So now we're going to wait for the camera to switch forward and look for Telstar spacecraft separation.
All right, here's our separation of the spacecraft there, but Chusakan won the Overlook Horizon sticker. So Chusakan, send me a direct message. Oh, there it goes. No.
Spacecraft separation confirmed.
Now, it was intended to have a slight rotation when they deployed it. I don't really see too much of a rotation, but they were intending for it to have a slight rotation after deployment.
And we've got nice views of the Telstar 18V separating. A great launch and deployment, and that's going to bring an end to our webcast. First stage liftoff. We had to wait about 77 minutes for the weather, but went right at T0 at the time that we replanned to. First stage landed successfully on the drone ship out in the Atlantic Ocean. Second stage performed 2 great burns, putting the Telstar satellite and the second stage in the desired geostationary transfer orbit. And then, as you just saw a moment ago, Telstar 18V deployed, pushed gently away from the second stage by some small springs on its way into its operational mission, raising itself up to the final orbit. With that, we'd like to thank our Telesat customer, SSL, the Air Force's 45th Space Wing for range support, and our licensing agency, the Federal Aviation Administration. We invite you to follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and of course on our webpage at SpaceX.com. I'd like to thank you for joining us this evening for SpaceX's 60th completed Falcon 9 mission.
All right, that's it. That's going to do it for SpaceX there. We'll turn that off. So we gave away 3 things there. So we gave away the test mission patch. Let's see, who did the test mission patch go to? Alex won the test mission patch. Joy got the Space Lobster sticker, and Chusakan has an Overlook Horizon sticker coming to him. So you just got to send me those direct messages either on Facebook, Twitter, you do Instagram too, or just go to overlookhorizon.com and use the contact us and just tell me where you want it to go to, and then we will send that out tomorrow so you can win some free stuff there. So there we go. Now the big question here is, how do we give away one of these guys? I feel like we should give one of these away, don't you think? Because we got a couple of them, and by a couple I mean like a lot. They actually sent us a lot, which I was really surprised at. Here, let's get this out of the way. We don't need this anymore. We got a lot of these. So I feel like we should give one away. My concern is I don't know what it's going to cost us to send these things, but we'll give one away and we'll figure out what it is, and then we'll go from there after the first one. But we'll give one away tonight, and then we'll see how it goes. So let's give away an official beach ball. This is official. This is right from United Launch Alliance. They sent these to us. So huge thanks to, where's their logo on here? Huge thanks to United Launch Alliance for sending these over to us. These are the official Parker Solar Probe beach balls. I'm trying to get my ring light out of the, well, you can see all my lighting in the reflection there. No, behind the scenes. I just want you to be able to read the text there without the light being in the way. But there you go. So it's Delta IV Heavy Parker Solar Probe. This is from the official Parker Solar Probe launch a couple weeks ago. Got a nice picture of the Delta IV Heavy rocket here on the side, and the actual Parker Solar Probe there. And the beach ball itself is supposed to be the sun. You see what they did there? They've got the sun. They got the Parker Solar Probe flying in front of the sun there. Creative. I thought it was pretty good. Little beach ball there. And in addition to them sending this to us, I really think we got to send one of these up on a weather balloon. I'm thinking we may have to send one up here and see what happens to it, and see at what altitude it fails, because as it goes up, just like the balloon, it's going to expand, or at least try to. And I'd be interested to see at what altitude one of these guys fails if we launch it on one of our weather balloon flights. Would that not be cool? Maybe Overlook Horizon 17, we'll throw a Parker Solar Probe. We'll call it the Parker Strato Probe. So hashtag Parker Strato Probe. We'll be going to the stratosphere on board one of our flights. I think Overlook Horizon 17, maybe. That would be fun. So we could give that a shot. Jason says fill it with helium, see how far it floats away. That'd be a cool idea too, because we got a lot of helium. We could just fill it with helium and see what happens. That'd be kind of neat. But I feel like it'd be way cooler to send it up on one of our weather balloon flights there. So so there we go. It's a ULA way to subvert your channel, put their branding on SpaceX coverage, is what Gregorius says. Yeah. I don't know if they knew that we were going to give it away on during the SpaceX broadcast. But yeah, I guess they can jump right in. They're the ones that sent over some free stuff. So we're giving away a ULA object on a SpaceX broadcast here. So if you missed the first couple giveaways, I'll give you a second here, because if you're watching on Periscope, this is kind of important, or if you're watching on Facebook, you got to go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/OLHCN. Same rules apply. You just got to type in a comment. Nightbot keeps track of who's commenting and all that kind of stuff. What was I gonna say? Yeah, just throw in a comment, and yeah, we'll let Nightbot decide on who to send that over to. So there we go. Let's see. Jason's talking about our hashtag Donkeyfly from that was Overlook Horizon 15 when I had that gigantic fly attacking me during the live broadcast. Phantasimo wants to know, can we cross out the Delta IV part and write in Falcon? No, that's not nice. You gotta give some love to the ULA for sending over some free beach balls here. Plus, the Delta IV is kind of an awesome rocket, especially the Delta IV Heavy. How can you not like the Delta IV Heavy? I mean, it's a pretty big deal. I understand it doesn't have the same power as the Falcon Heavy, but it's still, you gotta give some credit to the history behind that and all the achievements that the Delta IV Heavy has had there. So Phantasimo says their boosters can't come back. They're not that awesome. Sorry, that's true. But they did launch the fastest man-made object, which is the Parker Solar Probe. So that's going to be getting up to like 430,000 miles per hour or 700 kilometers per hour. That's crazy. So there we go. We're going to try to. Well, I don't know how I'm going to send this. I'll probably try to just. I don't really want to send it in a package because that's more expensive. I'll probably just try to stuff it in an envelope best I can and see if we can get it to go that way. I might have to send it in a package, maybe like a priority mail package or something like that. Try to keep the cost down. We're a non-profit organization here, so we like to do the giveaways, but at the same time, we can't really afford to spend $100 on shipping for every giveaway. So hopefully it won't be that. We'll find out. We'll give one away, and then we'll see what the best way to send these out is going to be. So All right, so here we go. Drum roll. No, that's stupid. Okay. All right, let's roll it, and we'll give it away. We'll give somebody a beach ball here. It's gonna go to Cindy. Cindy is our winner of the beach ball. So there you go. Cindy has an official ULA beach ball coming her way, as long as she's in the eligibility areas. Which way do I turn this? There you go. Courtesy of United Launch Alliance. Thanks very much to United Launch Alliance for sending those over. But there you go, Cindy. You've won yourself a Parker Solar Probe official ULA beach ball here. Yeah, send those. So what you got to do, just like the stickers and the patches, is send me a direct message on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or at overlookhorizon.com, and use the contact us and send us. Send me where you want me. Send me where you want me to send it, and I will send it out to you. And yes, it's Gregorius asked, it's a deflated ball. No, yes, they're deflated. I don't think I have any deflated ones here. It's not going to come inflated. I'm going to deflate it and send it deflated. But it doesn't get any. I mean, when it's deflated, it gets like skinnier, but it's still about yay long. So kind of a little bit too big for an envelope. Might have to use like a, I don't know, like a media mail or something like that. Like a, we'll see. USPS, if it fits, it ships. Yeah, we use one of those or something like that. So. So there we go. So Cindy's going to get herself a Parker Solar Probe, and or not the Parker Solar Probe itself, but the beach ball. And I feel like, so here's what I'm thinking. You guys tell me what you think of this idea. We're gonna throw this out here while we're doing the live broadcast. My thought is we'll send one of these up on the weather balloon. We'll send one of these up on our weather balloon. Maybe like partially inflate it so it doesn't break right away. And then maybe we'll run like a little Twitter contest. Everybody send over their predictions using the hashtag OLHCN17 and give me their predictions on what altitude you think this ball is going to fail and deflate itself. You know, either pop or burst, or maybe the button on, maybe the inflator on top comes loose. I think I'm going to super glue this. So my plan is, for flying this, is I'm going to tie some string here and attach it so it kind of just dangles in front of the camera. And then I'll super glue this on, because this would be the obvious point for it to fail, is just for the air to push this thing out, and then the air would just rush out of here. But I'll probably super glue this closed to try to prevent it from failing. And then we'll see if you guys can predict what altitude this ball will fail. Either the super glue will fail, or it'll rupture and have a hole in it and burst, or it'll just get some kind of hole poked in it and slowly deflate or something. You send me as soon as we'll try to get a little Twitter contest going, and we'll see what altitude the ball fails. But there you go. Cindy's a winner of the United Launch Alliance Parker Solar Probe ball there. So so there we go. Oh, Jason sent over a donation. He said, send me one of those ULA balls. Here's a donation to cover the cost. Well, officially, I can't do that based on a donation. But we could probably arrange something if you want to cover the shipping. We might be able to send one over to you. Send me a message over in the Discord channel. We've got our Discord server, overlookhorizon.com/Discord. We can chat some more, and maybe we might be able to get a ball or two out if somebody was willing to cover the shipping on it. So there we go. So people are guessing already. We got 72 Galaxy Tank Girl guessed 55,250 feet, and then Alex pulled the old Price is Right move, went 55,251 feet. Come on, Alex. That's not cool, man. It's funny though. So anyways, so there we go. There's our broadcast for today. We've got a successful flight for I almost said United Launch Alliance. Successful flight for SpaceX today. Successful launch, successful deployment, successful landing, all around big success for SpaceX today. So that's fantastic. Yeah, that's a good launch for them. We gave away some free stuff, and hopefully people remember to send me over those direct messages, and we'll get the freebies out. We're going to have more freebies given away for the next couple of launches. So we've got, hopefully, this one's still kind of up in the air, but I'm going to try to broadcast the Delta II, the last Delta II flight, which is a week from yesterday. So it's next week is the Delta II mission. That will be the last Delta II flight, and then we definitely got to give some Parker Solar Probe, some ULA beach balls away during the Delta II, as long as I can go live. It's still kind of up in the air, but it's next Saturday. It was still up in the air. I might have a conflict for that, but I think I'll be able to go live for the Delta II flight next week. We'll give away another beach ball at a very minimum. Probably give away some stickers as well, and then we've got SAOCOM 1 coming up for SpaceX. I think that's beginning of October. I think it's like October 6th is the next SpaceX launch. So we got a little bit of time. The cadence is kind of slowed down a little bit for SpaceX. It's not quite as frequent as it was towards the beginning part of the year when they were really cranking them out. Originally they had planned for like 5 or 6 in a single month at one point, but now we're down to like 1 a month. So it's slowed down a bit. But super exciting is we're only like 4 or 5 launches away from the first demo mission of the Crew Dragon. It'll be unmanned, but still exciting. The first demo mission of the Crew Dragon happening in November. At least that's what it's scheduled for. And we're only like 4 or 5 flights. There's only 4 or 5 flights in between now and then, including there's a Falcon Heavy coming up somewhere around that time frame too. So another Falcon Heavy coming up. That will be exciting for sure. A lot of exciting stuff happening this fall and into the winter time frame, because we got the Crew Dragon demos happening. We've got Falcon Heavy. There's 2 Falcon Heavies that are supposed to happen towards the end of the year. I think you're going to see 1 Falcon Heavy before the end of the year, and then the second Falcon Heavy, the ArabSat one, is not going to be till the early part of next year. That's my thought. I don't think you're going to get 2 Falcon Heavies in by the end of this year. But yeah, a lot of exciting stuff happening for SpaceX coming up. SAOCOM 1 beginning of October is also exciting too, because that's, like I said earlier in the stream, that's the first return to launch site landing. So basically they're going to turn it around and land on land. First one of those for the West Coast. So they've done them on the East Coast. They have not done a landing on the West Coast. And so that is coming up beginning of October. That's our next launch. That's SAOCOM 1. I think that's how you say it. I'm probably screwing it up, but that's coming up soon. Jay Fuller says, did you have fun in the cornfield? I had a blast in the cornfield. I love recovering our payloads in the cornfield. So Jay's referring to Overlook Horizon 16, which was our last flight that landed in a cornfield. I love when they land in cornfields. 1, I think it's a lot of fun to run through a cornfield. 2, who wouldn't like that? 2, it didn't land in a tree. So our flight did not land in a tree. So Overlook Horizon 16 was a super easy recovery for us. And I love when that happens. So yeah, I like the cornfield. The only thing I don't like about the cornfield is the leaves on the corn stalks or husks or whatever they're called. They're kind of sharp, and they were like face level as I was going through the cornfield. So as I was going through, it was like giving me these little like micro cuts on my forehead and on my face and on my nose, and I didn't like that part. But I had a lot of adrenaline because I just recovered our weather balloon payload, so I was still pretty pumped. So. Fantasimo says, could they relaunch a Falcon Heavy in less than 24 hours too? I would doubt that. I mean, the Falcon Heavy is supposed to be a Block 5 Falcon Heavy, so theoretically possible, but I know the center core for Falcon Heavy is slightly different, and so I don't think you're going to launch a Falcon Heavy in a 24-hour turnaround. Falcon 9, I bet, is probably a little bit easier, but Falcon Heavy, I think there's a little more that goes into it. You got to mate the boosters to the side boosters to the center core. You got to get the payload on. I think there's a lot more that goes into the Falcon Heavy, so I don't think you're going to see a 24-hour turnaround for Falcon Heavy ever. But Falcon 9, they said they're gonna do it one of these days. They're gonna get a 24-hour turnaround. I think just because they can, they want to show it off that they can. So. So there we go. Space TV said, big thanks for doing the best interactive launch commentary in the universe. Wow, that is a big statement there for Space TV. Thanks, Space TV. I really appreciate that. Appreciate you guys hanging out. And I see a whole bunch of hearts coming in on Periscope. So thanks, everybody, for sending over all the hearts on Periscope, too, as well. That's pretty awesome. And everybody that likes the YouTube video as well, thanks very much for that. Jay Fuller wants to know when our next scheduled balloon launch is. Well, Jay, we officially were done for the summer. We had planned to go for 2018. We had planned to go to Overlook Horizon 16, which was our last flight, and that was going to be it for the summer. So that was our last planned flight. With that being said, it might be Friday because the winds are looking pretty good this coming Friday. And it's still a little ways out. We're still like a week out, so it's not really reliable from a wind prediction standpoint. But the winds on Friday look pretty awesome for a weather balloon flight, and the weather looks good. So we might fly another flight this coming Friday. And if we do, it's super easy to mount this guy. So we might fly the Parker Strato probe this coming Friday. So like a week from now, less than a week from now, we may fly this guy. I don't know. We're going to try that. I'm going to watch the weather over the next couple days. Probably tomorrow, Tuesday, get an idea on what the winds are going to look like. And probably by Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll make a call on whether or not we're going to launch our next flight on Friday. And hopefully we can launch we'll launch a beach ball. That'd be pretty cool, right? So yeah, it might happen on Friday. We'll see. We weren't planning. Like I said, we weren't planning on doing any more launches for this year. The next Overlook Horizon 17 was planned to be next spring. But we've kind of kept it in the back of our mind. We used to not do any winter flights. Winter flights and fall flights they're really hard to do because usually it goes really far. But we're going to keep an eye on the winds, and if a day pops up and it's like, hey, it's not really going that far and it looks pretty good, we might fly it. So we're going to kind of keep it a little bit open-ended. So that's kind of the long answer to your question there, Jay Fuller. When is your next scheduled flight? Our next scheduled one is not until next spring. But when is our next flight? It could be as early as Friday. So there we go. Let's see. Eagle Soars USA says he's not finding the channel. He's not finding our YouTube channel, Eagle Soars. YouTube.com/OLHZN is the YouTube channel. YouTube.com/OLHZN. Kursala says, I assume this channel covers all these launches. Funny how the need doesn't really cover these. I'm not sure if that's right. Oh, the news. There we go. There's an asterisk there. Funny how the news doesn't really cover these. Yes, we do cover all the SpaceX launches, or at least we try to, as long as they don't have conflicts. So yeah, definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel. YouTube.com/OLHZN. Stands for Overlook Horizon, which is the name of our nonprofit charitable organization. So it's OLHZN is our YouTube username. So you just go youtube.com/OLHZN. There you go. I think I said it 1,000 times. Yeah, there you go. Arctifus put in the link there. youtube.com/OLHZN. Thanks for sharing that there, Arctifus. Let's see. What else? Did I miss any other comments here? You remind me of my little brother right after he comes. Oh no, I'm not going to answer. That's not appropriate. I thought it was something else. All right. How tall is the rocket? Let's see. Not finding the channel. Let's see. I assume this channel. Oh, wait, we read that one already. These bots repeat what people say. I did notice that before. There's some Periscope bots that repeat a bunch of comment. I didn't know that was a thing. That there's like bots on Periscope that just repeat people's comments. I did notice that. I don't know what that's all about. Thank you for scoping this. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Let's see. I think we got them all. I think we covered all the comments. Yeah, a bunch of people saying OMG. Yeah, I know. I read that one comment. I should have read it quietly to myself before I read it out loud, but it happens. It's live. This is what happens when it's live. So apologies for reading that comment out loud. Let's see. Yeah, I think we covered it. YouTube only, sorry. That's the link to the stream in YouTube. Oh, wait, no, it's a Periscope. Yeah. All right, yeah, I think we covered it all. We even got ourselves a embarrassing comment in there. Wait, I don't know what it's live, guys. I don't know what to tell you. It happens. Okay, well, there we go. What else do we got to talk about? I think that's pretty much it. So, I got nothing else. That's pretty. Emacs is wondering when the launch is. You missed the launch, Emacs. Launch is over. We're about to end it, wrap it up here, because I think we've got pretty much everything all covered here for today. So I'm going to wrap this up. I really appreciate everybody for hanging out here. So this was a lot of fun. My name's Tori, and this is Overlook Horizon. And I appreciate it if you like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, throw some hearts over on the Periscope side of things. Really appreciate everybody hanging out with us here for tonight. And then and join us on the next broadcast, which will hopefully be coming up for Delta 2, which will be next week, is the Delta 2 flight next week. Last Delta 2. I like the Delta 2 rocket just because it's got that green color to it. It's not something you normally see, or at least you don't see that that often here. So so yeah, there we go. There's the Delta 2s coming up, and this was the Telstar 18 VANTAGE communications satellite that is that launched successfully here today. So all right, that's it, everybody. Appreciate you joining us and hanging out here for tonight. We had a lot of fun, and we will see you guys all in the next video. My name's Tori. This is Overlook Horizon, and we'll see you guys all next time. Thanks, guys. See ya.